Kim from Keep Fit with Kim, and in today's how-to video I'm going to talk about the bridge exercise. Now the bridge exercise can have a lot of different reasons for doing it, or different focuses. So when I'm teaching it in class, sometimes I'm just looking at getting some mobility in the spine, just rolling up and rolling down. Sometimes I'm looking at getting some stability in the hips, so pelvic stability, and trying to keep the hips as level as possible. So how it's taught will depend on what the focus is of the class. I'm going to start off with a mobility version. So when you're doing this exercise, one of the things that often happens is that people start to get cramp in their hamstrings because their hamstrings start to work before their buttocks, so the muscles don't fire in the right order. So it's always well worth thinking about starting with a few glute squeezes, so squeezing the buttock muscles, so just a squeeze and release, or maybe just a little pelvic tilt without lifting the bottom off the floor. I'm just pushing my lower back into the mat, so I'm pushing the lower back into the mat, or maybe do some bum squeezes. Doing the bum squeezes will really make sure those muscles know they're going to work. Feet are hip width apart and a little bit closer to your body than for most of the other exercises you might do lying on your back. Now again, depending on the focus of the class, you might leave the arms down, or you might take the arms onto the hips to feel what's going on, or just take them all the way out the way across the chest so that you're not leaning on them. I'm going to start off with just a rotation, a sort of real beginner's exercise, whereby we're going to squeeze the buttocks, tilt the pelvis, and then just start to lift the back off the mat, breathing out, breathing in as you roll back down. Trying to place the individual bones of the spine down one at a time. Think of a string of pearls. You're going to push the lower back into the mat and then peel them off one pearl at a time, one bone at a time, coming up, and roll back down. Now, if you find that your knees are dropping apart, I often see people's knees dropping apart, you can put something between them. Don't think I want a heavy one, but I put a lighter ball between my knees. If you put in something between your knees, it's going to help engage the muscles on the inner thigh. Also might help stop cramping. That might help. Towel will do just as well. So that is your simplest version. We're trying to keep everything as level as possible. We're trying to lift both hips up at the same level. If you've got your arms on the floor, that will help. You can actually use your hands for stability. Now, if you're still working for mobility, you can start adding in an arm float, so you can breathe out as you lift. Breathe in as you float the arms up, and if you notice again, as usual, I turn my arms out to be able to take my hands a long way back. If you take the back of the palms towards the floor, you're going to have to really open up through the shoulders to get all the way back, and lifting up, coming back down with the hands, and then rolling down one vertebrae at a time. So I do that with a 4 count of the breath. Breathe in to prepare, engage the core, breathe out as you roll up. Breathe in as you take the arms above the head, thumbs towards the floor. Breathing out, breathing in. And using a ball, I'm feeling that a lot more in the outer thighs as well as the inner thighs doing it. But it is up to you. If you feel that your legs are falling apart, it's really worth doing that, because it's going to also strengthen the muscles to keep those legs in position. As we go on and get more advanced, or depending on the purpose of the exercise, we might be looking at actually the stability of the pelvis. So in this case, you're going to breathe out as you lift, and you might not roll up this time, you might fold up. And then what we're going to do, long term, you might see people do a leg lift or a leg lift. But what I find is that a lot of people, if I say, oh, just take your heel off the ground, will go straight into a leg lift if anyone else around them is, even if they're all over the place. So if you think about it, if I come to here and I lift my leg and my hip goes immediately down, I've not got the strength there. So the starting position is take your hands onto your pelvis so that you can feel what's going on. So on the top of your hips, lift up. From there, engage the core and start by lifting a heel off the ground maybe. Now you see my elbows are not on the ground. If you push your elbows down, you're losing that work You're not engaging the muscles I want you to engage. Take that heel down. Lift the other heel and down. And we're trying to keep that pelvis as still. We're trying to keep the knees from dropping out. So we're holding it in that position. We're trying just to lift the heel and down. As you get better, you'll find that maybe you can float the foot off the ground. Or maybe you can bring the knee all the way in. Sometimes actually bringing the knee in is easier than floating the foot above the floor because the weight is over your main body. So you need to listen to your body, be aware of what's going on in order to get that at the right level for you. If you start to wobble, come back down. If it starts to hurt your back, come back down. Give yourself a little back massage. Do what you need to do, maybe a stretch, to stretch through any muscles that feel tight, and you can always join back in. I hope you find that useful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.